All right, everyone's open to 89.
6th grade teacher Jack Nastasi, 2nd grade teacher Dana Goldberg, 4th grade teacher Renee Kaysen, and Sarah Costello, who teaches 5th grade, are among 323 men and women recruited on an emergency basis into classrooms in some of New York City's toughest public schools. They teach here at PS 25 in Brooklyn, identified as an academically distressed school. A total of 12 teaching fellows were assigned to PS 25 in September, but 2 have since left. Teaching fellows are also students. They're taking courses at local colleges, working toward master's degrees, which the school system is paying for. Most of the teaching fellows here at PS 25 go to class once a week, 4 hours every Thursday evening at Brooklyn College. They're taking 2 classes, one in teaching techniques, the other in classroom management. The question is, what's the connection between what they're learning at night and what they do during the day?
We began by looking at the various character traits or characteristics of a good teacher.
Michelle McCollin teaches the management class.
That's something I also used to do. The students knew that if I counted to 5 and got to 5, there was detention.
Teaching fellow Sarah Costello appreciates the evening classes.
We've only been in that class for about 3 weeks now, but some of the things that we've gotten from that are very useful because what that really is our professor, Mrs. McCollins. She was a teacher. She's done it. She trains other teachers how to be teachers.
We begin
she gives us realistic tips. She's been in the classroom.
And collecting data on our students.
Teaching fellow Jack Nastasi is critical of the evening classes.
Do I think we should be taking these prerequisite courses at Brooklyn College? Definitely not. They're a waste of time.
What do you mean?
Do I think I mean, these are courses you're supposed to take before you ever enter a classroom. So, I mean, I'm in the classroom already 8 months, and now I'm going to start taking the course? To be honest with you, I'd rather have the time to prepare for my lessons and stuff than be sitting in class on a Thursday.
You have to establish routines, and that's something I also would like for us to talk about.
Jack may question the value of the evening classes, but in his own classroom, he seems to do what the instructor recommends, including praising his students whenever he can.
Good, very good, Chris. Chris was just pointing out that on one side of the elevation scale, they have it in feet, and the other side, they also tell it in meters. Okay, good, very good, Chris.
I noticed you did 2 things. You would praise the kid. That's very good, Chris. And then you kind of summarize. Is that deliberate?
I'm going to praise anyone. No matter what answer they give, I usually praise. Then I usually take what they say, and most of the time they're on point, but they may not be directly to the point. So I'll usually take what they say, and I'll be like, Chris said this, and that means that, and they'll agree, and then I know that I've taken what he said, and I've added maybe a couple of teaspoons of my own sugar to the cup of coffee, and now we have a wonderful cup of coffee.
Adding a few spoonfuls of sugar to the recipe is something Jack can do, but he cannot create his own menu. The social studies curriculum is set by the school district. Yesterday, Genghis Khan. Tomorrow, the silk trade. Today, feudalism in medieval Japan.
Feudalism develops in Japan. Does anyone know what feudalism is? Feudalism, it's the same thing.
How much do you know about Japan? I mean, do you know much more than is in that book?
I mean, I know... How much do I know about Japan? I don't know a ton about Japan. I'd say I know a lot about Japan post-World War I, stuff that's more relevant to my age, not even, but stuff that I concentrated on in college or whatever. So I don't know a lot about medieval anything.
You mispronounced feudalism, and one of the kids corrected you.
I'm human, I make mistakes. I'm 23 years old. I gotta learn from them, they gotta learn from me. I don't know everything, I'm not claiming to know everything. It doesn't bother me at all being corrected by a kid.
In his teaching, Jack seems to rely on instincts and past experiences. So does 2nd grade teacher Dana Goldberg. You also have this trick, you kind of wave your hand.
Yeah. Well, we played a game at the beginning of the year. I said, okay, here's a little game. I'm gonna let you scream as loud as you possibly can. But when I go like this, you have to get as quiet as you possibly can. And we did that a couple days in a row. So now they know when I go like this, it means quit it.
How'd you learn to do that?
How did I learn to do that? Well, I took clarinet lessons for a long time, and I knew that in music, this means to stop. That means the end.
But how did you learn to do it in a classroom? Did you
I just
sort
thought
of...
about it. I just thought it.
But Dana also finds value in the training at Brooklyn College.
That class gets me thinking about things that I kind of repress. And she writes quotes on the board and gets us thinking about ourselves and what we're feeling about this place and what we're doing. And it's a lot of introspection. And it's tough because you don't want to introspect. I don't want to think about it anymore, but it's helping me. I think it's helping me get things out that I am not talking about.
Like what?
Like, there's just so much going on in how I'm feeling and the tons of emotions I'm feeling, frustration and sadness for the situation that these children are in, and anger for the situations that they're in. Because it's not the children. They're reading at a higher level. They know how to spell. They know how to do a lot of things. I said it, and I will continue to say it. If you take these kids into any other atmosphere, they will thrive.
Renee Kaysen, who teaches 4th grade, questions the relevance of the evening classes. Are you learning management techniques there?
Yes, I'm learning management theory in Brooklyn College.
You smile. Theory. What does that mean?
I find that what I learned in class, first of all, I don't think my professors or my teachers has a clue of what I'm dealing with in this particular school and with this particular group of children. These children are very needy. A lot of them need my attention. They don't understand rules.
Despite her criticism of the Brooklyn College classes, Renee, just like Jack and Dana, tries to do what the instructor recommends, reinforce positive behavior.
Excellent, very good. So we had to make a drawing. A drawing is an illustration. I'm trying to do that just to reinforce that, you know, you're doing a good job, that you're trying. So I try to reward them to make them feel good about themselves. For those who are confused, it's math.
Then there were other times, Renee, when you said, well, for those of you who are confused, this is math, right? Kind of sarcastic.
I'm sarcastic. That's how I deal with this. Maybe it's a young thing, but that works for me. We're all here. We're all here. We're here. No, we have to look at this.
Are you having what you'd call a tough year?
I'm having a nightmare. I hate this year, whatever. I'm venting. I hate it. I particularly hate this year. I hate that I chose to be in this school. I mean, I hate a lot of things about this year.
You hate this year. Do you like these kids?
Do I like these kids? I like every single child one-on-one. I don't like them as a group. Collectively, I don't like this class. I don't relate to 18 of these children screaming at me, needing my attention, not following rules. I don't relate to that, so I don't like them collectively. Miguel, sit down, Miguel. I was at Brooklyn College, and my professor told me that she didn't think I belonged in teaching. But when she said, like, I didn't have the sympathy or empathy, I'm like, okay, possibly. I am putting a lot of energy in and not getting much back. But when you say I shouldn't be around children, I don't think that's true, because in the afternoons when I do stay here, they help me out. They want to hang out with me. So I'm good one-on-one with children. I had a very idealistic picture about teaching, and now I am in reality. And to see really what I have to deal with on a daily basis, I wish I knew this information before I even got into it.
You think you'll make it through the year? It's March.
I'm gonna finish. I'm just gonna finish.
For all the teaching fellows, including Sarah Costello, It seems that their real training is not happening at Brooklyn College, but on the job.
Do you think the Vasco da Gama could sail if there was no salt water?
On this March morning, Sarah Costello was teaching her 5th graders a science lesson about water conservation.
Raise your hand if you take a shower 3 times a week. Every day? Yes. Every day. Every day. Okay. Daquan, what about you?
Yeah, like sometimes I just take the bubble bath.
Take a bubble bath. Let's think about this. How long does it take to fill up the tub? 5 minutes? What do you think, Greg? 2, 3 minutes? You must have a small tub. I knew what we were going to do, starting with, I had given them an assignment last night to go home and think about what they knew about conserving water, what they wanted to know. So I knew that they would come in. I didn't know they'd have that many questions.
Now, how did you know to do that? To have a plan, but to be flexible.
I figured it out real quickly. When I was in the classroom, if I go in and I said, I'm going to do this lesson, I've got 45 minutes and this is going to get done, it doesn't happen like that. There's a lot of days where you have to go with either the kids are not interested and you have to say, okay, this lesson, I have to toss this lesson. Either I'm doing something wrong, they're not prepared for it, we're having an off day, you know, let's move on to something else or let's try this again tomorrow.
So this is learning on the job.
Yes, every day.
There were a couple of times when you kind of gently corrected their English.
The grammar. You said I ain't?
I'm not.
Thank you. That's every day. I have some kids who I can correct them all day long and they don't get mad. They do it. There's not enough time. I mean, we have a skills period in the morning. I can't do grammar every day.
Again, how did you learn to do that?
I don't know. I've worked with kids a lot. I do it all the time. I'm sure my parents do it to me, or they did it to me. I think that's how I learned. I was corrected a lot.
I'm trying to wonder if it came up in your summer training or in your weekly classes.
No, I don't. I think a lot of, I mean, for as much as you're in the classroom, even being at Brooklyn College now and being in the class. Oh, what are you remembering? There's nothing like being in the classroom with your own. I've got 15 kids, and their personalities and my personality, and there's nothing like, until you get in there, and probably the correcting the grammar, I came in and tried to do lessons about adjectives and pronouns and skills every day, and it gets too old. Do you have an answer for me?
You look like you're having fun.
I am. I am. For as much as I go home at the end of the day, I'm exhausted by it, or I fuss or complain about it. I am having fun.
Ahead on the school calendar are city and state standardized tests in math, science, and reading. 7 days of testing in April and May that can determine who gets promoted. Teachers believe that how their students perform on these standardized tests reflects directly on their teaching. And so as springtime approaches, pressure is mounting.